Hi there, my name's Ava, or better known as RadCat online sometimes. This will be my first of hopefully more videos of my cosplay process. I decided I wanted to start filming and documenting the making of my cosplays because I've noticed that I tend to just close myself into a room for a month and then emerge with a cosplay with absolutely no pictures of the process or any documentation really. And so I thought this would be helpful. And maybe even sharing my techniques with other people might help too. Mostly I just want for myself to understand why I do the things that I do when I'm making stuff. Before I totally get into the project, I wanted to talk about the previous version of this project and why I'm remaking the entire thing. So this is actually Katamari Head 3.0. There's been versions before. The very first version ever was just a little headband. This was made for a Halloween party basically. I also of course have the King of the Cosmos. This is for my partner. But I knew that I wanted to do the simple version and that I always then wanted to go on and make the full version. This was just more so the realities of going to going out on Halloween. I can't make the whole head as much as I'd like to because I am that person on Halloween who's gonna go all out. So I then built the full version, which actually does not exist anymore. It was disassembled in order to make this version, but I'll put up pictures of what the first version looked like. This is the new, the more improved one. As you can see, it's still got some problems, but definitely an improvement over the very first version, or I should say the second version. The first full head, the second version of the cosplay. This is the third version of the cosplay. What I tried to do differently on this one, oh, you can see it's got the dress is inside the head right now for storage. But this one, I tried really hard to focus on sewing all of my seams. The very first one I built, I ended up gluing most of it only because I had 3 days. I wanted to make it as quickly as possible. And I wasn't really thinking about the quality. It was really purely for fun. I did end up going at the con. They still had, they had some signups available for the competition. And I thought, I just thought it'd be fun. And I ended up winning best prop. So best prop for the head. I think it's funny that they considered this a prop. But I was happy that even my 3-day crappy glue version was still good enough to win something. So yeah, I went on to make this guy. I actually got to walk across, I did the cosplay showcase at C2E2 in this guy, which was super fun. That's not there's no craftsmanship aspect of that. It's pretty purely you walk across the stage and people clap for you and it's a lot of fun. But now I am doing a con in which it is actually craftsmanship based. I've been planning to do this for a while, and so I'm taking the time, I'm combining what I've learned from all the different versions, my quality sewing, but also the little improvements I learned just from wearing this around at a con for a whole day. So we're gonna make the biggest and best version possible. At least I hope so. But yeah, that's what we're doing here. So in my previous walk around version of this character, when I say walk around, I mean just the version I had to walk the con floor. I had this smaller Katamari to keep as a prop with me. It has this nifty little strap that made it so I could wear it like a purse. Keep it with me throughout the day, but for any photos, it actually unclips, so it can just be straight Katamari. So I'm going to talk about my plan for building this Katamari. I knew that it being so big, I would need to find a way for it to be transported easily, because even with this smaller prop, this is still pretty bulky. This doesn't fit in a bag. This is more like a big pillow. So I had to think, what's something that can be broken down, but also be big, lightweight, rollable? And it came to me pretty immediately, a beach ball. I knew that I've seen people use huge beach balls, so I did some shopping. I found the biggest one that would still fit within the size requirements for the con. So I have here a not fully inflated 42-inch beach ball that I'm going to use to make the interior of the Katamari. The logic with this being that it can be deflated and folded up. So easy transportation. I actually bought several of these because the first one that I got ended up deflating immediately. I think there was a hole in it or there was something wrong, which was really disappointing because it wasn't expensive, but it also, you know, it was probably like $30 that I feel like I just threw out the window until I realized, oh, this actually saves me quite a bit of time on patterning. So I've gone ahead and cut a hole in this one and gotten a pattern piece. You know, speed running patterning by the failure of this product. Because I was not planning to do that. But you know, little blessings here and there, I guess. The universe works out. So yeah, I'm gonna be using this to cut my pattern pieces to cover the ball. My plan is to cover it in felt because I want to build props that are able to Velcro to it. And as much as I'd love to just cover the whole thing in Velcro, that's not really feasible. It probably wouldn't look very good. And I'm sure that they make like full Velcro sheets, but still, we're going with felt. I've tested it. The sharp side of the Velcro sticks to the felt. So the idea is during the competition, I'll be rolling across the stage where the props will be placed out and I can just roll over them. So yeah, let's get to work on this. All right, it took both me and my partner to fill this up, but it's full. All right, so this is a 42-inch beach ball that, so you probably can't see from this angle, but it's tall enough that I can stand up while rolling it. So, and it's gonna be even bigger in the end when the spikes are put on it, which I think are gonna be about 7 inches tall. Oh, they're probably bigger, I don't know. That's something that I'm still gonna figure out, but it's big. And so this is perfect. Okay, so I'm using just plain white craft felt for this. It's perhaps not the fanciest fabric in the world, but I think it's gonna get the job done very well. I'm gonna put a picture of the Katamari that we were building. I'm basing it off one very specific image that I believe was released as a promo for Katamari Reroll. But yeah, so we're gonna be building the white one. I know there's so many that are like pretty iconic, but I decided I wanted to go with white just because I want it to stand out on stage and be very visibly separate from me. Because I'd actually built an initial one that the whole Katamari was green, and then I realized I'm green, so it can't be green. And I don't know, I went through several other color options before I realized that white will just be the most visibly contrasting on stage with the lights. And of course, you know, the little spikes on it will be rainbow colors, but the base, the ball itself is going to be white. I'm frustrated because I think you could see this, that this pattern piece beach ball slice is just, you know, a couple inches over from being able to be cut with just the width of the fabric. So it's fine, but you know, one of those things, be easier if I could just cut it straight across. So for this beach ball, I know that it has 6 segments, so I'm going to be cutting 12 segments of this pattern piece because this felt can just be a little bit sheer, and I want this ball to just be, you know, only white. So we're going to do one base color, you know, yeah, we're just gonna do 2 layers basically, just to make sure that the color is, you know, totally opaque. I don't want, you know, this beach ball has some pretty vibrant colors under it. I don't want anything to be shining through. And so yeah, it also just like will smooth out any, you know, if the ball's kind of lumpy, just smooth it out so it looks nice and smooth. Okay, I have the first round of covering here. It's flipped inside out right now, just so I can kind of see the seams. Like there's a few places where it's like puckering a little bit, but I can just take that in and fix that. This is, you know, just the first round. I just have it clipped shut here. But you can see why it is going to need 2 layers because you can kind of see the stripes poking through. So just want to cover that up. Although honestly, it's, you know, could be pretty whimsical like a Katamari ball, but I've chosen to make it all white, so it is going to be all white. This video is featuring Doozy helping me. He says, I want to be on your cutting table at all times. Okay, so I have the cover for the ball sewn now. This is all on here. Now it's time to work on the Katamari spikes. So this is my mock-up that I think I'm gonna end up going with. I just like the size of this. Maybe hold it from a distance so we can see more. So these are gonna be going all the way around the ball. Hang on a sec. Dooz, get out of here, little buddy. He's very helpful. Watch out, little buddy. But yeah, so now I'm gonna cut out, I'm gonna start with 7 of these and then see if I feel like that makes the ball feel full enough. I think that was my problem with my old one. I actually felt like the spikes or whatever weren't close enough. So, and it actually ended up making the ball kind of, when it sat on the ground, it would sit in between the spikes. So the actual ball was touching the ground. Well, I actually want this one for the spikes to be full enough that it's rolling over the spikes and not just the ball. Working on the Katamari cover, and I have it figured out. This is going to be the outside. I have now cut out all the holes where the spikes are going to go in. This took an absurd amount of time of me pinning this on, pinning the little spikes on, trying to figure out how many I wanted, where I wanted them to be. I made 10 spikes and ended up, when pinning them on, figured out I actually only wanted 6 of them. I think that made it look full, but also still rollable. I initially wanted to have more, but I actually realized with the props I want to have sticking to it, I want the props to stick to the ball and not to the spikes. This is just like practicality for rolling so that there's not like a, you know, prop stuck to the outside of this. It'd probably look pretty funny, but I don't know. I want to be able to roll the ball pretty smoothly even with all the props on it. So only the ball itself, not the spikes, is made out of felt. The Velcro I tested only sticks to the felt, not to the fleece. Maybe, you know, a little bit, but really it's only going to grip to this. So with them spaced out enough, all the props should be able to stick. They should be able to stick to it. Here's an unfinished dice. There we go. It's a little squarer now. But I want the props to be big so that they're visible from a distance. And they're big enough now and there's enough space between the spikes that they can stick in between the spikes. So yeah, that's where we're at. I'm going to start sewing in the spikes to the circles. That's why it's so full of holes right now. I have all these circles cut out. So I'm gonna get to sewing those in. Okay, the amount of times I have put this Katamari cover on my body, I'm like, why am I not just cosplaying as the ball on its own? It's just so big, I can wear it like a blanket. It's also kind of cold in here. But yeah, I've been sewing on my spikes. They're kind of deflated because they're not stuffed yet, but I'm pretty pleased with how this cover is coming out so far. I was having that classic moment where, you know, you're in the middle of something that's, you know, 3/4 of the way there and you start to go, oh my god, it looks like shit. I hate everything that I'm making. I hate everything about this. And then you finish it and it's like, oh, okay, it's coming together in a way that I'm actually pretty pleased with. So Now I get to start to put it on the ball. I have this big open seam here to go around the ball, but when it is actually done, it's going to be totally enclosed, and there's just going to be a hole at the top where I can access the little, I don't know what you call this thing, with the thing that you blow it up with. Although unfortunately, as I was pinning on these things, I did puncture this ball. So now, where is it? It's got a label on it. I think it's upside down, backwards in the video, but it says it's bad. This one's bad. But I bought them in a 4-pack. So luckily I have 3 more to hopefully not mess up. But if I do, I have 2 chances. 3 chances, I don't know. As long as one of them is staying inflated, you know, I shouldn't have to really be pinning on it anymore, so the chance of it getting pricked should be minimized. I do worry, I have 2 cats, and they love to play with anything plastic. They like to bite anything plastic, so I'm trying to keep the balls located in my sewing room where I can close the door and they will hopefully not bite it. So fingers crossed, they're gonna make it to the end. I'm sewing the ball and it's time for kitty break. Daisy says, pay attention to me right now. Oh, he says, you've been sewing all day. Why are you not petting me? Hi, buddy. Oh, you're such a sweetheart. Oh, nope, that's not good. There we go. There's a reason the cats aren't normally allowed in the sewing room, but he opened the door himself to say, you must look at me now. It is time. It is time to pay attention to Doozy. He's going in his box. Oh, you're so helpful. You're such a good boy. I guess you can stay in here while I finish this up. Okay, one more change I made to this before starting to stuff and finish it. I sewed in these circles around the bottom of the spikes because they need to be stuffed, and I was gonna have to do this no matter what, but I totally forgot that this, you can't just cut a big hole in this and then sew a spike in it and then put stuffing in it. There has to be a place where the stuffing is something holding the stuffing in against the beach ball. So yes, now we have all of our circles and they all have a little hole left in them, so I can put stuffing in here, and then I'm gonna go ahead and hand sew these shut and then hand sew this around the final beach ball. I want to do this while it is inflated because I want to make sure that the shape is, like, as I'm hand sewing it, that I'm taking it in as much as it needs to be brought in around. Like, I've already put it on the ball a few times. I know I won't have to take in a lot. I just want it to be accurate. And then going forward from that, there's going to be a hole, small, like about a little 3-inch in diameter hole around the top here, that for any beach ball replacements in the future, the ball will be completely deflated and then just be able to be pulled out of the top, and then a new one can be fed in. I mean, this is assuming that it pops. I hope it's not going to pop. It should have 3 layers of felt around it at this point, protecting it from anything sharp. So hopefully we won't have to do that, but that is the contingency plan. The hole is, the real purpose of the hole as well is also so that the ball can be deflated for easy transport to and from con, because this is a little too big when it's fully inflated to go in the car. So that is the practical use for that. I've been using my Brother embroidery machine just to test different stitch lengths to see how I want to finish all the edges on my both the face, the head, and the ball itself. The feedback I got from the judges the first time I had entered this like a previous version of this costume was they would like to have seen some embroidery incorporated. So these, you know, just testing different lengths on the machine. I think, you know, I like obviously this really dense patch there. I just think it'll really make all the seams look a lot nicer, just show a little bit more effort in what I'm making. So I'm gonna go ahead and do that. I'm starting to work on the props that are gonna stick to the ball. And I want it, so like, I just cut out these pieces. This is gonna be a big dice. I'm gonna finish all of the dots on the dice with this type of stitch. So I'm just laying out the dots for my dice. I'm gonna go ahead and do the nice zigzag stitch around the edges of these to make them look nice and pretty. And then one side of the dice is gonna have Velcro put on it so that it will stick to the ball. And I know when you're doing the competition, they usually, either you can bring a helper or they will have a stagehand who can help put everything out on the stage for you. So I'm gonna have specific instructions to lay everything down, Velcro side up. I have the first side of the dice done. This is my own fault for not doing a test initially, but so you can see the two circles. This is the two-sided of the dice. You know, one turned out kind of lumpy and I was a little disappointed with that, but then I realized I can put a little backing on it, and with a little stabilizer backing on it, now we got a pretty perfect circle. So, you know, I think if one's messed up on there, it's not a huge deal. I'm like, it's one prop of many that's going to be sticking to this guy, so it's okay. All right, I have my dice here almost entirely sewn together. All the circles have been zigzag stitched on. Some of them aren't perfect circles, but you know, it's kind of the nature of a handmade thing like this, I suppose. The one that's missing is the side that's going to have the Velcro on it. I thought that I had white Velcro and I did not, so this one is going to have to wait until more Velcro arrives in the mail. But once that is here, it's basically just sewing up these seams, turning it, stuffing it, and it'll be all done. Okay, we've jumped ahead a week in time because I had to go do my actual job and then also had to prepare for a convention, so I kind of had to put the Katamari aside for a little while, but I've made some good progress. So I finished a few of the props. Here's the big dice. It's a different piece. Here's the big dice. It's got its Velcro on one side. This dot is also Velcro, so the whole thing can stick. It's nice and lightweight and soft. It's like a big pillow. The other one I have totally finished now is big push pin. Big push pin. It's got its navy blue Velcro. This one's kind of a weird shape, so I just kind of put as much Velcro on it as possible so that whatever part of the Katamari touches it, or where we'll hopefully be able to make enough contact that it sticks up. There we go. It's sticking. So those are the ones that are done. The next one I've started on is big orange slice. This is the front piece. It's got a little highlight. I just have these pieces stitched on here. I'm now going to go in and satin stitch over all of these edges so it looks really nice and pretty. Here's the back side that has Velcro strips on it. This one doesn't have the cute little highlight because it's the back, it's got the Velcro, it'll be stuck to the ball. I don't think it needs to be as pretty. I want to still do the satin stitching on the back side because I just think it'll show a level of detail, attention to detail, time and effort into every part of my cosplay, even all the props. I want everything to just look really slick and finished. I did the same thing on our dice here. The black on the white just doesn't want to show up very well on the camera, but these edges are satin stitched as well. There wasn't really anything on the big push pin to satin stitch and make look that nice, but like, you know, not every prop needs to be beautiful. I mean, I still think it's super cute. Like, it's just, you know, it doesn't have satin stitching or embroidery on it. My plan during the pre-judging is to pull off my favorite props and give them to the judges. So like, favorite prop is going to be the dice. I think the big orange is going to be super cute. A few of the other things that I'm planning on that aren't done yet are going to be like a big spool of thread, a shrimp. So once I have all those done, I'll see which ones are like my, you know, my favorites, my shining pieces that I think will best represent what I can do. I think big push pin might not be I'm planning to have 6 props. I think it might not be top 3 prop. It'll still pretty dang cute. I'm almost thinking like, should I make these and like bring them to cons with me for my booth? I would like, do people want big push pin pillow? It won't have like, this one's not very soft or nice because it's got the spiky part of the Velcro on it, but without that, would people like this? I don't know. I would put this on my bed. I would definitely put Big Orange Slice on my bed. I think this one is going to be so cute when it's done. Okay, hopefully you can't hear the cicadas outside that are screaming right now. They are really, really loud, which I like to hear, but maybe that'll affect the audio quality. I don't know. But anyway, I have now sewn together. It's not sewn at the bottom, but I just wanted to turn it and see how it is. But yeah, it's basically these two just half circle shapes with a little, I don't know what you call this shape, pointed little wedge that they're sewn in between. I just wanted to turn this before I finish sewing it together, but I think it's turning out so cute. Oh my gosh, I can't wait to stuff this. Even, I don't know, I actually really like the way the Velcro looks on the back. It weirdly makes the front look less dynamic to me, but that's okay. I think it's gonna be so cute. I just wanted to turn it real quick and make sure everything's looking all right before going on. I'm gonna turn it back the other way and then sew up the bottom, so it'll be thin at the bottom but have the wedge at the top, and then but I'll leave a little turning hole and fill the rest with polyfill. So we are coming along. This is prop number 3 out of at least 6, but hopefully more, so we'll see. Okay, so it's kind of rainy and gross outside. Most of my light comes through this window that's behind the camera, so I'm sure it looks insane in here. My little ring light can only do so much. I also don't have any makeup on, but I'm just really excited because my final fabric for this build finally arrived in the mail. Look at this green. It is so bright. It's almost gross, but I think it is going to be so perfect for the prints. I got this green stretch velvet that I decided to go with because in the past I had built him out of this like jersey knit green that I just found at Joann's because it's what was available at the time. I literally couldn't find any other green that was even close, and I knew I wanted it to be a knit material just so, you know, we could make things fit a little bit easier because I made it very quickly. But yeah, I found this online. That's right, I was saying I wanted to go with the stretch velvet because I think, I don't really know why, but I associate velvet with like royal, regal. I think it's probably because there's like a whole line of like Halloween costumes that whenever they make like a king cape, it's out of like a really cheap velvet. But, you know, the association is there, so I thought the prince should be velvet. The prince should represent his royalness that he does have. Even though he's very small, he's not quite the king of the cosmos yet, but I think this is gonna be great. I hope that this color isn't too intense on the stage, but I think it's perfect. I think it matches him very well. I also got, for the other details on his head, because he has a couple different colors, more velvet, different shades of green to sew in his stripes. I think it's gonna be really great. Hang on, I have to go let my cat in. Alright, come in. This is Doozy. He doesn't like to be left outside. Alright, here you go. Now he can be involved. Hi, buddy. Okay, so I started sewing the dress. I really didn't document that much of this because honestly, it's pretty straightforward. I just draped this on my dress form that, let's Let's see if you can put this over there. That dress form that's right there. It's an adjustable one, so I just set it to my measurements, draped this dress on it. It's a pretty standard little fit and flare. It's pretty easy dress. What's a lot cooler for it is the gloves, the sleeves. The very first version of this I ever made, the feedback I got was, how are you going to use your hands if you need to? If there's an emergency, if, I don't know, even just to use your phone. So that's the main change I made on these guys, is now there is Velcro here. So I can get my hand out pretty easily and make use of that. I had made even a previous version that incorporated Velcro, but it looked really bad because honestly, I added it after the fact and it didn't blend in at all. When this is Velcroed on properly, I think, you know, from a distance on the stage, you shouldn't even be able to tell. It looks like it's just one with a regular seam. So yeah, I'm going to be attaching these to my dress. The real change for this one that I think is going to be pretty cute, I'll put up a little reference picture. But the prince actually, his dress has like a little 3D effect at the bottom, like a little 3D ring. I've yet to make that, but I found a way to make that for this that I think is going to be pretty cool. I got this tubing, or it's not really a tube, it's like a little foam tube that I'm going to cover with this fabric and then just sew to the bottom. And when I line the dress, the lining will be sewn into this seam, so it'll all look really nice and finished. There won't be any raw edges anywhere. So I think it's gonna be really cute. I should probably film more. I probably should have been filming more of making the dress, but on it, like, I don't know. There's probably people out there who are like, oh my god, how'd you make a dress? And I'm like, this one's just like so straightforward, I didn't even think about it. It's everything else about this character that is like unique and interesting and a challenge to make. But yeah, I'm focusing on, not focusing, for this dress, I just want to make sure that for the final thing, everything is lined, because I know judges really care about how you finish your items. So they're like, now you can see my seams here, but there won't be any of this visible on the end. But I actually would have lined it already, but I forgot to buy lining material, so we have to wait until I can go get that. And also this material is a lot more sheer than I thought that it was. I don't think you can see it at all on camera, but it's, or maybe, yeah, kind of with the light coming through it, you can actually see through it a lot more than the previous fabric I had worked with, so definitely needs a lining, just aside from finishing's sake, just for not being able to see me through the dress. I really didn't think velvet was this sheer, but it is. But yeah, so now I'll get to work on making my little tube for the bottom. All right, new day, new outfit. My hair's pulled back because it doesn't look very good right now. That's okay. Marathoning Dragula while I'm working. And we're at a new stage in the project. So I just thought I would update all the things that I did. So we got new little foam boots to go under the tights, because I want them to have little rounded feet. So yeah, new boots. And then I did purchase my purple tights. I bought 2 of them because 2 sets of tights really smooths everything out and makes everything look really nice. And then one of the biggest pieces of feedback I got on my first build for this was that the tights that I had, I didn't put any like little grippy pads on the bottom of them. I didn't think that I needed them because I didn't feel unsafe walking at all. Like I never felt like it was slippery, but that is a thing that the judges took notice of, is that they were like, it's a safety hazard. So taking note of that for this round. So I bought this. This is the material that you put in your, that people put in their kitchen cabinets so that their plates don't slide around. So it's really grippy. I know that they actually make like straight up like foot grippy fabric that they put in like footy pajamas and stuff. I couldn't find any in purple, and I was like, I guess I could just do like plain gray, but I really just wanted it to match. You know, from a distance, I didn't want it to be obvious that the bottom of my foot is a different color. So I found this, I've tested it out. Obviously it sticks to the ground. So I'm just gonna cut out little foot-shaped pieces of these and then sew them. Basically, I'm gonna put my boots on, put the tights over the boots, sew this to the bottom. I'm gonna hand sew it on. So that way I got little grippy safety pads. I think the judges will enjoy that. So yeah, that is what I'm working on now. Okay, this project has definitely been a learning experience. I have never worked with velvet, and oh, hold on a second. Gotta wait for Doozy to let himself in. Hello. It's Doozy time. He has to be involved, you know. There you go. Yeah, so this has been a learning, no. He's after the food on the table. Come here. Oh, I hear you. On the floor. Okay. But yeah, like I was saying, this project has been a learning experience. I've never worked with velvet before, and this will probably make me sound really dumb, but I didn't know that velvet's pile was directional, which now that I know this, it's like, duh, of course it is. But yeah, so I cut my fabric for the dress with one side going up and one side going down. Luckily, like, one side was right, so I am just gonna, right now I'm seam ripping. I'm gonna take all this out and I bought like, excuse me, I bought like a ton of this fabric, so it is, you know, it's fine. I have plenty. I have enough to recut the other side. But yeah, I'm glad that I learned this before working, because this is just the dress. The dress is kind of really not an important, I mean, it's an important part of the costume, but in terms of construction, it's pretty straightforward. So, I do see. So, I'm really glad that I figured this out before moving on to the head, which is, I think, kind of the centerpiece of this. And yeah, it's important to me that everything matches. I think that is something that, you know, I don't know who the judges are going to be, but I would assume that they know, have some fabric sewing experience at the very, very least. And I wouldn't want to be docked points for my velvet going two different directions. And I want the costume to look cohesive. So yeah, we're going to recut. I'm really glad now that I bought so much fabric. Because remember, I bought 5 yards. And I remember when I bought 5 yards, I was like, this might be really excessive. But I like to plan ahead for these things. And this is something that, like, a mock-up couldn't have saved me on. Because, like, it's not about the cut of the fabric. It's about, or it is about the cut, but you don't need to eat this cookie. I've baked cookies and he is after them. But yeah, so yeah, we're just gonna get to recutting, resew this, and then hopefully then finally the dress will be done. I did start, this is the head that I've cut the velvet for. It's going down, so it's soft when you pet it this way, but kind of less smooth when it goes up. And so I'm gonna match that to the dress so that on every piece, no matter what, the velvet is going down. All right, new day. It is dark outside now, so sorry if the lighting in here looks really weird because I don't have all this nice natural light coming in anymore. We reached a point with Con Crunch where I kind of stopped filming as much as I would have liked. I feel like this happens a lot where it's like, okay, I just don't have time to make these nice talk to the camera things. But the head is done. And so I thought it would be nice to, I can hold up the head, show it, and then I'll also put a bunch of pictures in the video because I did take pictures for my build book, and I can talk about what each of those is and kind of still like the process that happened. So here is my finished head. It's all covered in velvet. The interior is lined, which is really nice. And my favorite little special feature about this that I think the judges are just really going to love is that the face is removable, which is just great because it makes, now I can wear this around the con floor with, you know, it just makes it a little bit easier because I can see out of the eyes on this face. Let's see if you can. It's not quite as clear on camera. The camera makes it look really dim, but I can see out of this fairly well, but when walking around a crowded con floor, I think having a much larger field of vision is just better. But yeah, so it's got Velcro all the way around the edges, green for the head, and then yellow for the back of the face. The face is lined with, this is EVA foam that I've painted. This lighting makes the bags under my eyes look dark, which they are right now, you know, it's very tiring doing all of this. But yeah, like I said, it's lined with painted EVA foam that gives the face this like more solid shape, because if not, it would get kind of like deformed. I'm gonna put up some pictures, but one of the big changes I made for this one is the features on his face are not just satin stitch, which that is what this is, but I could not do this by hand in a way that looked nice and neat. So I actually taught myself how to digitize embroidery files to make these shapes. And they're really simple shapes, but digitizing is tough. To anyone who has done that before, I think you know, it is a steep learning curve. But so yeah, I made my own files to get this nice, let's see if this will show up on camera, to get this satin stitched edge. It will not show up because of the black on black, but the around the eyes is satin stitched as well. I just wanted everything to look as slick and as finished as possible. Just every part demonstrating that I know how to sew and I'm not leaving anything raw. That's why, like, even the back of the face, that, you know, this is black foam that I then primed and painted because I wanted it to match for when I remove it. But yeah, I can go ahead and try the head on. Oh, let me take this off. But yeah, so it just pops on and it's really lightweight because the whole thing is upholstery foam. And it is easier to put the face on without the head on, but yeah, it can just Velcro on, which is really great. And like I said, we got this nice lining. It's moisture wicking athletic material because obviously it's going to get really hot in here. But yeah, I'm really happy with how this turned out. I am just really stoked. I think it's super cute. Oh, look at my hair all crazy now. I think it's super cute. I really love the velvet. I think the velvet, I think it captures the light in a really interesting way. And yeah, this is pretty much the final piece. And I'm stoked.
Taking the stage from Katamari Damacy,
So I'm going to talk over this clip now. I just wanted to say I'm just so happy that everyone loved my cosplay as much as I did. Like, I think you can see from this video that this was a labor of love. It was long, and I wouldn't do this if I didn't love it, and I wouldn't do this for a character that I wasn't deeply passionate about. And so it just means a lot that people loved it as much as I did. That, you know, walking around the con floor, you know, aside from the competition, just walking around, I had so many people stopping me and telling me that they loved my cosplay, they loved this character, they loved that the people still loved Katamari, and that they loved it enough to do this. It's like, I know it's not as popular of a game as it used to be, but the fans are still here. And so it was just a really wonderful experience to get to meet fellow fans. And even people who weren't fans of the game coming up to me and saying, I don't know what this is, but this is awesome. And then I get to tell them what it is. And then perhaps new people go and find the game and fall in love with it. It's just a really wonderful experience. You know, I don't do this to win, but it does feel good. I won't lie. But I do this to just go out there and have a great time, and I really, really did. I think you can tell from every part of this cosplay that I just had a wonderful time making it. I had a wonderful time on stage. I had a wonderful time getting to be the prince, and yeah, it's just yeah, I'm really happy with the whole thing. Even if I hadn't won, I'm so proud of this cosplay, and I'm glad that I get to share my process on kind of how it came to be.
Every single piece of this was immaculate. I couldn't find anything wrong with it, and no, it blew me away how amazing this costume was. But Best Masters goes to RadCat.
So I think that was a bit of a spoiler that I just said, but yeah, I won Best Masters, which I am just so over the moon about. I literally, you know, I'm filming this after, of course, and I'm still, I just can't believe it. I'm so happy about it. And like, I know we say it's like, obviously I don't do this to win, but it means a lot that this cosplay that I cared so deeply about and that I worked so hard on got recognition, you know? And like Best Masters of all things. I really can't believe that, because I've also never won a major award before. And I've won like a small award here or there, so to just be like Best Masters is crazy to me. I really, I couldn't believe it. This is the clip of me getting the award, and I have to laugh because I was sitting backstage fully in cosplay off mode, just like I'd gotten to have my fun. The day was very full. The end of it was getting to walk across the stage, and I had done that, and I truly did not believe I was going to win. So, you know, head off, face off, my mittens were off, and then all of a sudden they say RadCat, and so I have to leap up, throw my head on, put my face on. But you can see in the clip that I don't have my hands on because I didn't have time to put them back on. And yeah, so I know I've said it 1,000 times already, but it just, what a wonderful experience. You know, where else do we get to do this? Get to share things that we love so much, things that we got to work so hard on, and have people look at them. You know, I think competitions are just, you know, it doesn't have to be the competition, just that we have created these spaces where we get to walk around and have people say, wow, I love that. And I think that's wonderful. So that's the whole video. If you're here watching this right now, thank you so much for sticking around to the end. Thank you for going on this journey with me, because it really has been a journey. I can't believe that this is how it started, and then that's where we ended up. Yeah, I can't wait to get started on my next project, and I hope to make more videos in the future, and I really hope to see you there. Bye!